Wow. Wow.
Yeah, you got some vocals too, Doc.
Wow.
I heard you.
Please. I have musical Tourette's. So, like,
I heard you.
I'll be singing along or hear the run and redo it. Like, I don't even know that I do it sometimes.
As a vocalist, though, we appreciate that because there's a part of us that does things to be recognized. You know, I don't believe in over singing, but every now and then I want to throw something in there to let you know, like, don't think that. Yeah, I do this too.
I still got it now.
Oh, matter of fact, yes. And so when you do something and somebody can appreciate that, it's like job well done.
Yeah, man. Thank you for bringing back melody.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful melody. To give you all context, we're here with the incomparable Q Parker, formerly in 112.
Yeah. What's
just
up,
got off that Texas Black Expo stage here in H-Town. I was on the air last night. And
hold on. Let me correct you real quick. It's never formally, man, because I'm always a part of 112. You know, right now I'm just founding member because I'm just on the Q Parker movement right now.
Okay.
But
so founding member of 112.
Never formally, man. We always a part. Yeah.
Thank you for that correction.
Absolutely.
So I was on last night and I had got a request for Beg.
Yeah.
They were leaving Texas Black Expo. It's like, we just saw Q Parker. Man, he was so incredible. Can we, he's got a song called Beg. Can you play Beg? I was like, of course. Like, I play Beg in the Quiet Storm anyway already. And so, per the people, you shut it down last night.
Wow. Yeah. Man, I don't take it lightly. You know, any and every time I have an opportunity to be in front of an audience, man, like that's just my way of saying thank you. The least I could do is give 150% for what you've done for me for not only in this current season, but for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
And so that's my opportunity to just love back on the audience and just say in the biggest way possible, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for still sharing your gift with us, for bringing us some new music. I just heard his new song, Keep On Loving, the new single that's going to drop that I'm going to play in a little bit. That's why I said thank you for melody. The song is so dope. The song has a bridge, y'all.
Hey,
we bringing back bridges for the bridge. Like, and was there a slight key change when you got to the bridge?
It did a little something.
Yeah. Man, what are your thoughts? And we kind of briefly had this conversation when I talked to you and Wingo and RL for the Legends Only concert.
I remember that, yeah.
The state of R&B music, bro, I think that it is coming back around to what we grew up on and what people like you in 112 produced for us back in the 90s and the 2000s, you know, with your Q versions like you just did Heart of a Woman.
Yeah.
Your spin on that, you know, October London. Like, and you giving them that stamp and putting yours on there. I'm like, Q is a real R&B dude. And so to get these kind of stamps, I'm glad that R&B is kind of coming back to that. What is your take on that? What do you feel or think?
I think that true melodies, they're going to always find themselves in a place of resurfacing because as musicians, all we have are notes and we do our best to manipulate those 12 notes. Those 12 notes the best way we can. And although sometimes we be in a season where we don't get exactly what we want, if we just be patient, it's going to come back around because we're no short of people that are gifted. A million people walking around here who are just vocally gifted and understand the true essence of their instrument. And so I waited out, man, you know, with what today's R&B is doing. I give them grace and the space to interpret it the way that they see fit. However, my personal itch is I want to hear some singing.
Same,
I want to hear some chord progressions. I want to hear some modulations.
Yes.
I want to hear a bridge. And I'm glad you responded in front of management how you did when you heard the bridge because as we completed this EP, we were trying to decide which would be the follow-up single after Beg. And I mean, the EP is full of suitable choices, but the thing that made me personally gravitate to Keep On Loving was the fact that it did have a bridge in it. Yeah. And I didn't want to release a second and a third song without the components that I grew up
Listen to,
listening to and creating music. When I started as a teenager, there were modulations, there were chord changes, there were bridges, there were intros and outros.
There were vamps, there were B-sags, there was
a reprise.
Yeah.
It was all of those
But you know
things.
where that came from, bro? The church.
Yeah.
Because we grew up in the church.
Yeah.
And now that I think about it, in a sense, church, singing in the choir and coming up with it, that was artist development, bro.
Absolutely. That was artist development before the labels understood that was something that was needed. Because in the church, bro, you're going to get, whether you want to or not, you're going to get the reps.
Yeah.
And whether you sound good or bad, you had to figure it out. You had to figure it out.
And then there
man.
was rehearsals, and then we're performing at different churches, is out of town, like all the things, like it all legit was artist development. Man, we are talking to the incomparable Q Parker, the new single "Keep On Loving." He's inside the Quiet Storm tonight. You mentioned the EP. Well, are you still cooking? Is it still in the oven, or is it cooling on the stove?
The menu has been set.
Okay.
All the dishes have been prepared.
Okay.
And we just ready to serve them.
Okay.
But our way of serving the dishes is you have the appetizer.
Yes.
Then you have course number 2.
Yeah.
Then you have the main. Then you have
dessert.
After the main, dessert.
Oh, after the main.
Then you have a couple of drinks afterwards. And so when you finish that experience, you can now walk away saying, wow, I have just been served an immaculate evening of just everything. So I believe myself and my team, we just believe that we want to slow cook it. And we didn't want to just come out one day and say the EP is available. No, we wanted you to live with Beg for what, about 30 weeks we did?
6 months.
Yeah. Okay.
Like 6 months on Beg, and here we are with Keep On Loving, and we're going to do a similar cycle with that one. And then probably the fall, we'll release the full EP.
What's old is new. Your rollout is very how they used to do it back in the 90s.
Yeah. I'm a product of what I know, man.
Yeah.
You know?
But that works all the time.
Works.
Who else did a rollout like that? Beyonce, when she did Renaissance, how she rolled that out. That was an old school rollout with a single that had a cappella and an instrumental and you know what I mean?
We call it true school.
It's
the truest school, man.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and I'm so blessed that I have management partners who also come from that era. And so it's not me trying to convince them of a way that I was taught. It's us collectively saying, this is how we're going to do this because this is the way that we know it works. It's proven, it's tested, it's tried, it's true. And we are displaying that right now.
Yeah. Oh, man. Thank you so much for that. I'm so glad that you are coming out with some new music. I mean, it's been 13 years since the manual.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy work. But still, it's still on my phone.
Man.
The manual is still on my phone. The two of us with Faith Evans, that was my favorite because I was the young lady that I was going with when I was living in Atlanta at the time. Like, we may fuss, we may fight, but at the end of the night, it's just the two of us.
Better than just the two of us, man.
Yeah.
You know, I was even thinking about, in this space now of independence, re-releasing the manual, really putting some real motion behind it. Because, man, shout out to Malico and all that they were able to do, giving me an opportunity to release my first solo. But I could have done some things differently. I'm more educated now. I kind of know the landscape of the business, so I personally would have done some things differently. And
it was a different time, man.
Yeah, man. And, and for that to have been a complete body of work, I would love to give it like a real opportunity to be heard and to be listened to. So I may, down the line somewhere, do like a repackaging.
I'm a true fan. I have it on my phone and I had the CD.
Yeah.
20 years ago when I was doing radio in Columbus, Georgia, and y'all dropped Pleasure and Pain, it was, listen, the spring and summer of 2005, heavy rotation, 112 Pleasure and Pain, Faith Evans, the First Lady, and Mariah Carey's The Emancipation of Mimi.
Yeah.
And 50 Cent's The Massacre.
Yeah.
Those four. Me driving from Columbus to Atlanta to go party and smash. I always listen to those four. I've always loved y'all from the very beginning, from the self-titled debut album when y'all came on the scene with Come See Me.
Yeah.
I personally think, for me, you and Duran are two of the most greatest underrated vocalists I've ever heard.
Wow.
Like I've always said, like Q Parker and Duran,
Wow.
y'all sang down.
Man, that means a lot to hear, people say that, because at times it's really difficult when you're in a 4-man group where all members contribute evenly. And so you have to just
Y'all
master.
like the male In Vogues.
Man,
All of y'all sang.
yeah, and that was really the prerequisite. That was the requirement of being a member of the group. We wasn't going to have any placeholders. Like, everybody had to write.
Sing lead.
Everybody had to be able to hold their own. Everybody had to contribute evenly. But the thing with that, you learn to master the 25% that contributes to the 100. And the reason I can appreciate those years of developing and mastering the 25%, but I solely enjoy this individual movement now, because I get to now spend some time with those years of 75% that I left over in the corner. So now I can give the world 100% of Q Parker. And so to say that, man, I learned a lot from singing and hearing Slim every day. I learned a lot from hearing Mike sing every day, and Duran. So when you hear me sing, that's a culmination and a gumbo mix of not only Brian McKnight and Donny Hathaway and Babyface and Marvin Gaye, but it's some Slim, Mike, and Duran in there too, because I pulled everything that I could from. Slim is one of the best ad-libbers ever. Mike is one of the most soulful voices that I've ever heard. Yes. And Duran just versatile as all get out. And so
is stupid.
I just put all of what I heard them doing every day and put it in my mix. And now when you hear Q Parker, you hear me, but you hear a lot of the influence from singing with my brothers every day.
That's what's up. And the relationship, or the friendship, I should say, that you all had with Fizzy. Like,
yeah,
her being on the first, 2 albums, you having her on the manual. What was that like? Was she like the hidden fifth member of 112?
Faith was, is, and will forever be just our big sister. When you think about Bad Boy Entertainment in the 90s, the starting 5, the initial 5 was Craig, Big, Faith, 112 in total. Yep. And we say the Bad Boy family, but we really lived a family. When you are a new artist, it ain't a lot of money. Right. So we're leaning on each other. We're depending on each other. And being from Atlanta, moving to New York, we didn't really have anybody that could really nurture and cover us like our parents would, outside of the manager that lived with us. And so Big became our big brother. Craig, they would just always make sure that the little brothers, who at the time we were the youngest on the label, they would make sure we were good. And Faith would come over and cook for us. She even lived in our apartment with us for a couple of weeks when we didn't have money, because we spent all of our per diem. She would give us money. She would come to the studio, and I don't know if you remember, on her first album, Duran and I had an opportunity to sing
the Thank You Lord.
The Thank You Lord interlude.
Yeah.
And so it's just always been that thing where whenever she had an opportunity to highlight us, we'd be all for it, and vice versa.
And so that's when I first really heard y'all, because I would always, and I was a credit reader. Yeah. And so, seeing that, I was like, well, who are these? Who is this playing the piano? And who are these voices in the back? Yeah. And then later on, into 1996, we get 112. And I was like, oh, those two were the guys that was on the Faith interlude. So, wow, that's dope. Man, this is great, man. This was so great, man. Thank you. I appreciate your time, man. You're sharing your scholarship, those stories. How's the podcast going with the fellas?
Man, still in development stages of it. So just it's still working.
It's still working. Yeah. So we look for it. And we are going. I love this slow roll, this slow cook, the roasting of this project from Q Parker, the EP that's going to be coming out this fall.